So, guys, this is my review for Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Season 2, Episode 3, titled What Are You? And so let's dive right into it. So, basically, basically picked up at where it last left off, the end, where Inosuke was in. He was more closer to the demon than Tanjiro was and Zenitsu was. For the most part, I would just say for the most part, leading up to episode 3, he was like basically like kind of like right there at the like lair where I want to say I definitely want to say because we remember Makio was being held captive in a specific spot that even if you walk into the room, as we see here in episode 3, where Inosuke walks into this room and it's like damaged and beat down and whatever. But pretty much believe that Makio was in a different spot. I don't want to say she was in that specific room that was damaged, but probably like hidden in underneath or above, because even Inosuke here in the episode, he was saying like the demons in the attic, right? So he was closer at at that point at the beginning. He was closer to finding Makio and finding out about the demon herself here in episode 3. But at the same time, we see that Zenitsu came in contact with the demon, even touched the demon here in the episode. But I definitely like the fact that here in this episode that Tanjiro wasn't like the main focus. It was definitely more Inosuke and Zenitsu. This was just such a really fun episode to see them gain more more screen time here for this episode. And Tanjiro was just being Tanjiro. He, of course, here in the episode he was basically like helping out, cleaning a lot, and trying to help that lady out, and she felt like he was too fast at doing his duties. But this is Tanjiro we're talking about. It's the homie, right? He's gonna do everything to the best of his ability, the best of the way he knows how, because that's just how he was raised, which is definitely a great thing, right? So Tanjiro more so, he's gonna probably more so be more focused in episode 4 next Sunday. But again, like I said, here in episode 3, it's about Inosuke and Zenitsu. And I even kind of want to say it was a bit more focused on Zenitsu too, because Inosuke here, as we see, he's chasing after the demon. Like the demon is running through the ceiling and stuff. You can't see her running through the ceiling and stuff like that, but Inosuke's chasing after her, and he's trying to figure out where she is, because like that's the thing, he's telling himself that he can't feel the demon's presence because of how closed in but this is what I liked about this episode too. And I may do another video on this topic, but we see that Inosuke's having trouble finding and sensing, like his sensories are off because he's indoors. Outside is his comfort zone, in the forest, out in the rain, the thunder, the mountains, all of that. That's his comfort zone. Being indoors is just not, it just wasn't comfortable for him. So it definitely hindered his senses. So it was just one of those things that I really enjoyed about Inosuke here, was the fact that he probably might gain some extra character development through this. Again, I'm not sure because I haven't read the manga, so I'm going to be looking to try to continue reading the manga, do some review videos on the manga. But per the anime, I'm walking into the anime totally blind to what's coming in the future so far when it's pertaining to this second season. So that's just one of the things that, again, that I loved about Inosuke here, is that he it threw him off, and he had to he's basically trying to work around that in this new environment, trying to figure things out. But as far as Zenitsu's concerned, he was using his senses to find some information because he was telling himself, I can't, all this talk because of because of his ears. We know that he has a great sense of hearing. He was saying that all these people were talking, but nobody's mentioning about Tengen's other wife, Hina. I want to say short. I'm using a short name for his one of his wives, Hina, and because I can't remember her full name at the moment, I apologize. And when he finally uses his ears a bit more, he a bit clearer, he hears the little girl crying, and he goes and finds her. But this is where we see him run into the demon herself, because he's tending to the little girl, because the little girl's crying, fearful, whatever, in this room that's also damaged too, which is actually the demon's room. And the demon pops up, and Zenitsu's basically saying, like, I didn't even tell that she was there until before she spoke to me, because that's when the demon was like, what are you doing in my room? So Zenitsu did step up in this episode. I did enjoy this too, and the fact that again, he's trying to keep people safe and stuff, and he doesn't like the fact that the demon is hurting this little girl because she grabbed her by the ear, and her part of her ear was bleeding because she was tugging at it too hard, and Zenitsu grabbed the demon's wrist, her right wrist, telling her to asking, sort of demanding, but asking, like, please could you let her go? And the demon's like, repeat that, and he did, and I was amped about that. I was glad that he said that. I was glad when he repeated it as soon as she put the period on that question. Say that again. He said it like, please could you put her down? And the demon was just basically saying, like, you're a bit too feisty for your own good, blah blah blah. And then that's when the demon back fists Zenitsu and knocks him out. And I thought she was gonna backhand him, but that wasn't the case. And plus the other those I want to say they're twin little girls, those three little girls, they were trying to like help and keep Zenitsu safe, but that didn't happen because of the backhand. But also too, with the little flashback that occurred with this lady dying because Zenitsu had mentioned that, I thought that it was a flashback from many years prior at the very beginning of the episode with the demon talking to that lady, but that wasn't the case because Zenitsu, I can't remember it may have happened in episode 2, I can't remember because I only watched episode 2 once, but there was a lady that died, but it was 2 days prior to all of this happening here in episode 3. So we actually get to see, specifically here, the demon having the conversation with the lady up in the air. We get to see more of this conversation a bit later in the episode, and then she basically kills her. But then we get the chance to see the homie Muzan pop up and have a very interesting conversation with her, that I'm probably going to do another video about. But we do learn the demon's name, because from what I can gist is that, this demon is going by a title, not specifically her name. Muzan calls her by her actual name in the scene here in episode 3, but the demon's going by a specific title. And even the lady here was talking about that, which I'm probably going to do another video about the history of this title that the demon is going by, which again causes her to go so far as to killing her. But Muzan was basically talking to Daki. Daki is her name. He basically says, like, you're doing good. He even confirms, reconfirms to her, but confirms to but lets me know, the viewer, or us the viewer, that she's killed 7 other Hashira as of currently right now. And I'm like, dang, she done took some cats out. And even to the point, like, when she backhanded Zenitsu, back-fisted him and knocked him out, she even said like, she noticed that he went on the defense. She even says, she doesn't call Zenitsu a girl, she says he reacted in such a way, he did this and he did that. So she knew that that Zenitsu wasn't a girl, because she kept calling him ugly too, which was interesting in itself. But during that conversation, but again, she she basically recognized that Zenitsu was a guy during that time when she knocked him out. But again, back to Muzan, he's talking to her about her getting stronger, and I thought he was gonna like do something to give her more power, but that wasn't the case. Also, she's the upper six demon too, within the moon demons as well. So so she's very dangerous, very, very dangerous indeed. But yeah, during that conversation, I just found it very interesting that he was talking to her about that, and also, like I said, he calls her by her name. He says Daki to her, which I found very, very interesting indeed. That he just like said her name during that conversation. But again, like I said, he tells her like, you've killed 7 Hashira now. I'm definitely glad that you're doing that. Blah blah blah. You're gonna get stronger. You're gonna be more powerful, and you're gonna continue doing what I need you to do. You're on. He's basically saying you're on the right track compared to his conversation with Akuza last week in last week's episode. So, I think no, that might have been episode 1, because again, I haven't rewatched the first 2 episodes. So yeah, so definitely very different conversations. Probably gonna do another video on both of this stuff. So yeah, a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, guys. But all in all, I did indeed enjoy this episode. But at the end of the episode, Tanjiro notices a shift in the atmosphere, and he's looking up into the sky, and he's just like he basically is going on alert a little bit. So, but at the same time, Zenitsu, because he wakes up and those triplet little girls are having a conversation with him, making sure that he's okay. And he's like, I'm fine. He's trying his best not to claim himself to be a girl. He said when he woke up, he said that, I had a dream that I was a man or whatever. But he's like, I'm a little girl. I'm a girl. Blah blah blah. Trying to reassure himself more so than them. But once that occurs, because this is the after credit scene basically at the end of episode 3. Once all of that occurs, then we see Daki's I want to say kimono come down and like grab him, because she has like her kimonos are like webbings or something. I don't know. I feel like she's like another spider demon or something. But her kimono like comes out and grabs Zenitsu just before the episode cuts off. So before it goes into like one of those snippets again at the end of these episodes. But I enjoyed episode 3, guys. There's going to be more videos to come. Like I said, there's just other stuff that I want to talk about specifically. But I kind of dived into a little bit of what I wanted to say per specific scenes. But I enjoyed episode 3. Excuse me. What did you all think of episode 3? Leave some comments in the comment section below. Let's talk about some things. What were your thoughts? But with that, guys, I will hopefully talk to you all next time with more Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba videos. Peace, guys.